Hey, what's up, you guys? Hello, hello. It's your girl, Vanessa Cabrera, and I got another one on deck. I ain't done. We ain't done. What's up, MJ? I'm so excited I can't even talk. Can you tell? What's up, MJ?
Oh,
How
no,
are you,
I'm good.
lady?
Feeling good. I'm great. I'm really good.
Good, good, good. All right, so as you guys have been following me for the past couple of weeks, I have launched a brand new Facebook Live series all about real life money making marketing moves. Say that 4 times because I stumble it all the time. And the whole premise of that live stream is to just be real with you guys and honest with you guys about the moves that I have made, the moves that my clients have made when it comes to their marketing, right? To bring in clients to actually make money from your marketing. And so, this live case study with my client MJ is an extension of that. So, if you guys are watching us live, go ahead and show us love. If you guys are watching the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay, all the things. So let me properly introduce you to this badass, okay? Listen to this. All right, so MJ, she has dedicated her career and life helping others succeed. Today, she coaches executives to be confident and visionary leaders to develop their teams to excel and exceed their goals, which is what they're doing. Mary Jo is also passionate about helping other women grow as leaders and succeed in attaining the next level in their careers. But somehow, in her entrepreneurial journey, she got stuck, right? And she didn't know how to move forward. Sound familiar? I've certainly been through it for sure. So, MJ is a graduate of the Implementer program, where she launched her dream coaching program known as Inspirational Leadership Accelerator. Love that freaking name. I love it. And landed a $3,000 client. And then she decided to become a master implementer and continue working with me to get additional coaching and accountability, where she landed a $15,000 corporate contract and then tripled it. Hi.
Hi.
Hi there. Holy crap. So, how does that feel to hear? I'm just curious.
It's a
You
little crazy to think because, just a year ago, I was still struggling. I was unsure of what I wanted to offer, what I was passionate about, and found it. And customers came, clients came, and it's been really exciting to move through the whole journey.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is.
Like when we were, going through our dry run right yesterday. I'm like, okay, so you've done this, and there's more she's done, but I'm like, we'll unpack it as we go along. But um, yeah, just to hear that, I just wanted to get your take on it because I'm like, how does that feel when someone like
Yeah.
introduces you and reads you off, because we're all like busy going through the things, right? Just doing the
Right.
day in and day out that we're supposed to be doing. And then you take the time and listen to, it and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you
No,
know
it's
who I?
funny. It's like a friend of mine got married, and it was one of my college roommates, and a bunch of the other roommates stood up in it, and her dad introduced every member of the wedding party,
Uh-huh.
and like what they were doing, and this person's a CFO, and this person's a VP, and this person's, and it's like, look at us, we cleaned up nice. Look at us go. So I kind of feel a little bit like that. I'm like, look at me, I cleaned up real well.
Yeah,
I did real good.
yeah. I'd say so. I say you cleaned up damn well. Oh my God, that's funny. We cleaned up nice, right? All right, MJ. So why don't you take a minute and just introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. So I have had a weird, long, winding path to get to where I am that I'm very proud of. I started out as a civil engineer back in the day. That's how I went through college and started working as an engineer, and then landed at 5 years into my career what really was kind of the dream to me. I worked at FEMA in the National Flood Insurance Program. My civil engineering experience is playing with water. So I make water flow downhill, is what I used to tell people. Um, and it was the first time that I followed like a passion in um, in what I really enjoy doing. So
Mhm.
instead of making parking lots and building stormwater ponds, this was going to the government and helping people. This was being on the forefront of disasters. This was all about reducing flood losses across the entire country, and that part of it was really appealing and exciting. You know, it wasn't just sitting there at a drafting table; it was doing something more with that degree. So 10 years at FEMA and went back into engineering when I came back to Chicago because I spent 5 years out in DC working on policy and cool stuff that, again, feeling like you're making a real difference in people's lives, in people who live with flooding. And when I came back, I was kind of searching for what that thing was that I really wanted to to do that I would still have that fire and passion. So I spent about 5 years back in engineering consulting and just wasn't feeling it there.
Mhm.
I loved managing my team. I loved the group that I worked with, but I terribly missed the passion that I had for floodplain management. So I started my own company in 2016, reached back out to my FEMA people and said, "Hey, so how are you doing with like women-owned small business spend? How's that going?" And they're like, "Well, we're a little behind." Wait, why? Why are you asking? So I got my first client as a consultant, back in the FEMA world, and done some work there, um, and have really a wonderful network, really strong network with my FEMA peeps and all the consultants and contractors that support FEMA. Um, but again, as I kind of wound through and said, what do I want to really do? What do I want to be when I grow up?
Yeah.
I kept coming back to wanting to kind of work more individually with people, wanting to make a difference for people's lives, and started to see opportunities where my experience, everything I've done in building teams, in leading teams, in being a leader within the government, within my own company, within engineering firms that I worked in, couldn't really figure out how to bring it all together.
Right.
And then that's when I said, "Hey, Vanessa, I'm ready."
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys get all that? FEMA. So I just love dropping that word.
You do.
I do. I do. It's insane. So MJ and I actually met through a women's organization, WESOS, Women Entrepreneur Secrets of Success. And we met when I think I was on a panel, or no, actually, we met before that. We knew each other before that. But we met
Yeah,
in
I think so.
person. Yeah, we met in person when I was on a panel, and she um, came to that panel. Shout out to Eric Gilchrist. What's up, girl? For putting the panel together. And I remember, see, this is so funny. This is what cracks me up. This is my memory of meeting MJ, is that she started walking towards me after the panel was over. And my first reaction was like, oh shit, here comes like the uber smart chick. Like she works for FEMA. This is what I was saying in my head, right? This is exactly what I'm like, damn, okay. I'm like,
And
and
on
I
the
said
flip
this to
side,
Erica. Yeah, I'm like,
I was all nervous about coming up to you because I'm like, she's such a badass. I'm such a little wiener. What do I know?
how silly we are. Like we're so, oh my God, it's so crazy. And I remember telling Gilchrist, I was like, she's like smart, smart, right? She's like, oh yeah, on another level smart. I'm like, what the hell am I going to talk to this person who consults for FEMA, who used to work for FEMA? I'm like, hi, right? So that's how we met. Um, and like we just stayed connected online ever since then, right?
Yeah.
So there MJ was, and I was following her, and she was following me. Um, And I saw that she was starting to coach. I saw that she was starting to consult a little bit because she didn't really talk about it too much online, but I got snippets of it, right? And so I then reached out to her um, to help her in a different way. And so I don't know, Amelia, if you want to go into
Yeah.
that this is your story.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, totally. Um, so in early 2021, I was actually diagnosed with breast cancer. And when I I value authenticity. So if there's something happened in my life, I generally put it out there and talk about it, and um,
Yeah, you do.
don't really cover it up. So I started talking about the journey I was about to go on and the diagnosis and what my treatment plan was. And Vanessa reached out and she's like, "Hey, I'd love to help you a little. What can I do to help?" So that was really amazing that you reached out during that time because it was hard. And I was trying to be really upbeat and positive the whole time and optimistic. But at the same time, there's plenty of times that you kind of crash mentally and emotionally during that. And I am no evidence of cancer, no evidence of disease at this point. Graduated from radiation last about a year ago, and you know, am past it right now. I'm always going to say right now, just because I don't want to like jinx the
No,
anger the cancer gods or anything. So,
nope. It's gone. Yes. Yes. Cancer free. She beat it. She's
yeah,
done with it. Moving on. Right. And
yeah,
so, yeah, I reached out to MJ because, like I said, I've been following her, and then she dropped this bomb of what she was going through. And I had an inkling and knew I'm like, I could help her. And this is when I was just starting off my NLP journey. And so I'm like, let me see how I can help. I just had a gut feeling that I could help her. So that's exactly what I did. And she's like, okay. So
yeah,
we did a couple NLP sessions just to keep her congruent, focused, positive, but on a much deeper level than
yeah.
I can explain on a live stream, right? And then, she went through her journey, right? And then what happened?
And then I was really trying to find what I wanted to do with coaching and how I wanted to put it together. And like you say, when people are ready, they know it. They find you. And you reached out to me because you're psychic like that and said, "Hey, how's it going? How's it going?" And I was like, I put you off for like, I ignored you for like a
Mhm.
week. And I was like, "All right, can I do this? Do I want to do this?" I'm like, "Vanessa, I just need some help. I'm so stuck. Yes, let's do this. I'm down. Let's get together." And I just need to work out. I knew I had things blocking me that were making it hard for me to make decisions and figure out what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
But just your advice and your expertise in saying how to put together a coaching package, how to use what I have in a way that I'm passionate about and find the right people that I want to work with. So I had a big gap there of like, I wasn't sure how to make that happen.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, let's go.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me, MJ, because now, and even before this, right? In my model of the world of you, I just thought you were just such a badass because FEMA, FEMA, FEMA. And I can see her, doing all the stuff and posting all the stuff and uber smart stuff and just smart, smart stuff, right? That um, to me, I'm like, oh, she's got her shit together. She's gonna launch this. She's gonna crush it. She's gonna kill it. We assume so much in this world, right?
Yeah,
Like I said, how we met each other, right? It's just
right.
so stupid what we put in our heads. I'm like, oh my god, how am I gonna talk to her, right? And so I just assumed I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna crush it, like crush it with this coaching. And in my head, I kept remember hearing because this is what I hear when I see potential badasses in the online world about to launch. I'm like, her audience has just been waiting. They're just waiting for her to be like, this is how I can help, right? And
Yeah,
so that's what I did. So I just reached out to her, not assuming any of this. I think I was just checking in on you and being like,
yeah.
are you good? You all right? Do you need anything else? Blah blah blah. And she's like, she was honest, and that's when you're like, okay, I want to launch this, and blah blah blah. I was like, okay,
Wahahaha.
wow, excellent, right? So it was very organic. And I don't like to use that word because it's used so much, but it's true. It's just really organic how We started working together, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
This is why I want to have this conversation with you, because this is what happens when I land clients. This is what happens when my clients land clients. The attraction is there. To explain it is difficult unless we have these conversations, because she just knew what I was about. I knew what she was about. And then when we talked privately, that's when you figure out what's really, really going on. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you said the problem that you had was that you had blocks. So what were the challenges that you needed to solve in order to move forward?
So I had a whole lot of imposter syndrome for sure. And feeling like who the hell did I think I was coming in trying to coach people? If you look at my resume and look at everything I've done, it on paper makes absolute sense. But in the back of my head, I constantly had this voice saying, you can't do that. No one's going to pay for that. That's ridiculous. So I really had a lot of limiting beliefs I had to like just kind of smash down. Um, and then there was also a lot of just like um, some of those beliefs that were just really, really heavily imprinted about being the smart girl, being that girl that um, had relied completely on, being the smart one in the room. And this was a very different animal. This like trying to put myself out there to coach and to attract clients was totally different than I've done in the past. So there was a lot of the need to believe in myself and what I was going to do and project confidence. Um, at the same time, I started putting myself out there a little bit, and I swear to God, every day I get a damn LinkedIn message about how somebody wants to get me $30,000 in clients every day, and here's how you do it. And they like connect with me like 4.5 minutes before. Um, which I love that you just posted about that too, because I'm like, oh my God, that's my life,
I know. Why I posted it.
and
Yeah.
right, but like it kind of gives me very much another, that voice in your head too of like, God, I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be icky. I don't want to like, well, so
Yeah.
like I wanted to be me. I wanted to be authentic and not feel like I was constantly selling to people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I need to sell to people to like pay for food and my mortgage and stuff like that. So it was how to do it without feeling gross about doing it.
Yeah.
And that was a huge part of what we worked on.
Yeah. I get it. And I love the fact that you're saying this out loud because it's the truth. And by the by, for any of you guys who saw that post where I'm like about LinkedIn, and it's true, you make a connection and 4 seconds later, someone's in your inbox
Right.
saying, hey, I can get you $30,000 worth of clients in 4 seconds. Like, whatever, right? MJ inspired that because it's true and it's annoying, right? Um, and so a lot of my clients like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to come off like that, right? And so I'm like, I get it. You won't. That's not even in the vicinity, in the neighborhood
Right.
of how we roll and how it's
Right.
done, right?
Yeah.
Um, so MJ had imposter syndrome, which is very, very common in all my clients, myself included. Again, I feel like a parrot, but I always repeat myself. I'm like, I had to go through this shit too. I had imposter syndrome too. I had people reaching out to me privately too and promising me the world. And I'm like, I don't want to come off like that. And how do I do it and all the things. So I love the fact that that was your challenge because it's such a common challenge. And also the fact that you question yourself. This is why I just laugh now and why me and
Right.
MJ laugh now because we look back and it's just silly. Like but it was very real at the moment where you're like, who the
Yeah.
hell am I?
Right.
Who do I
Yeah.
think I am? Right? Of launching this coaching program or, being able to coach clients and get paid what, I want to get paid and all this. Meanwhile, FEMA. Okay. Oh my God. Did you notice how she said on paper is all good? I was like, I can't, I'm like, I can't even imagine you thinking that, but this is the real struggles, right? This is the real
Right.
of imposter syndrome. All right.
Yeah.
So why
And
did
that
this?
was so I've talked about my imposter syndrome, even, in my own LinkedIn presence and putting stuff out there.
That's
And
right. You have.
so many people are like, no way, really? It's like, oh, yeah, completely. I may seem like I got my crap together, but yeah, mentally I was not there yet. So, yeah.
And that's a leader. That's what makes a leader, right? It's not when you come showing up day in and day out, having your shit together and having no problems. That's not true. That's not real life. We all have our shit that we're working through on an everyday life, but it's the leaders that continue to show up and work on themselves and are honest with the audiences that land the clients.
Yeah.
It's not the ones in the DMs telling you to land 30,000. That's not it,
Right.
right?
Right.
Far from it. All right. So, why did these challenges? Um, how did they have such a significant impact on your business? What was holding? What was going on with that?
So part of it, I think, really was that it was stopping me from kind of really committing fully to launching something.
Mm-hmm.
I would think about it, I would plan it, I would procrastinate it because I had those voices going on and never really get to launch. Um, it also really stopped me from putting together something that I felt like was really well aligned with who I was, because I was doubting myself. So
Yeah.
then I'm like, well, who can I coach executives? You were one, you've done, managed $200 million to the government, and like you can do this clearly, right?
Yeah.
But like that little voice, just that little bitch, just won't shut up.
I know that little
And then
bitch.
she pulls you back.
Yeah.
So it really kind of just like kept stopping me before I would really get there. Um, so once she got quiet, it got better.
Mm-hmm. When she gets quiet, I love that. When she got quiet, it got better. It's the truth, right? It's learning how to
Yeah,
shut her down
right,
and listening to somebody else.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Um, so what were you looking for when it came to like a solution? So we know the challenges, right? What were
Mhm.
you looking for when it came to helping you with the stuff that was going on?
So at first, what I thought I wanted was, help in kind of formulating what that package was. That felt really right for me, and then how to market it. And having understood a little bit about NLP from you helping me during my cancer,
Mm-hmm.
um, it didn't really click that like what how powerful that could be. So as we started talking through it, it was like, can you help me shut that voice off? Really? Cool. Like, and really dig into why she was there and why she was bothering me and pull all those things out. Um, so I understood where it came from, but also how to pull it out, file it away, listen to what her concern was, and be like, that's nice. And then do what I needed to do. That was probably the most powerful part that I didn't realize I needed when we first talked. But after our first session, it was like, this is going to be so instrumental and key to me being able to do what I need to do.
Right.
So it wasn't really something I understood how badly I needed until we started talking. I was like, damn, this is going to be the big part of this, really.
Yeah. Um, most people come to me for social media strategies, and I market myself as such because I have them, and they certainly work. But it's this. This is the real
Yep.
work that we do. That which is why I have you guys on to explain it because it's such a deep inner work that the imposter syndrome. Can I do this? Who this bitch thinks she is? Is this possible? Are they going to buy? I need to buy food, mortgage, all the things, right? Um, all the things that no one really, number one, tells us that's the issue, right? And then once we say you do know that, right? Let's say that you do understand that about yourself, which in itself is work. No one tells us how to deal with it. No one shows us how
Right.
to deal with it, right? I didn't know
Yeah.
how either. I just learned this. And I keep saying,
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, I've only learned this for the past 2 years. Where was this?
Right.
Right?
Totally.
Oh my gosh, where was this growing up? Where was all this? Right? But we know it now, right? You know it now too. So, like I said, it's the difference that makes the difference, right?
Yeah,
Where
totally.
you're no longer worried about that kind of stuff and you even kind of start to laugh at it.
Yeah. No,
Not
I
kind
totally
of,
do.
like, yeah, like
Yeah.
myself included. I'm like, for real? Like, for
Right.
legit, that's what you're worried about, Vanessa, if all the techie stuff
Right.
was going to work and all that stuff, right? So silly.
Yeah,
All right.
totally.
So what made you decide to become an implementer? And now she's a master implementer, y'all. But what made you decide to become an implementer?
Um, I had been struggling with standing something up and really launching a program for probably a couple of years. And really, I hit that point of I'm done effing around. Like I really, it's going to sound a little cliche, but like going through, you know, 8 months of a cancer battle, um, even though it wasn't as traumatic as I know some people experience, it really helps you put stuff in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided after that like I really want this. I really need to understand better how to get it, and I'm willing to invest to get it. It's going to pay off. It's going to be little did I know how life changing, but it is going to be life changing and really transformational for my business if I can just get this together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of that moment that I was like, I really need Vanessa to get me through this. I can't, I've struggled to do it on my own. I've worked with other coaches that were very much like by the book of their program, right? And I needed somebody who was going to be more in depth with me. And it was one of those things I think we even talked about that I was like, someday I know I'm going to work with Vanessa. I don't know
That's
how and
right.
when,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna because I think you had me when you flipped the bird at a WESOS meeting.
You
That is,
know, oh my
like
God.
that's my girl. That's who I need to be with. So
A speaker who
uh,
flips the bird on stage. I don't even remember doing that. I have a
it
shot.
was a
Thank
Christmas.
you.
It was a Christmas party that you spoke at.
Yeah, the Christmas party I
It was
spoke
awesome.
at. I just got out of the emergency room. Literally went from the emergency room to the stage. Hadn't eaten in 2 days. Could not cancel. It was a major, major event. And apparently I flipped the bird. I think I flipped the bird on my former bosses.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so funny because, yeah, apparently I made an impact because I've heard that.
it made
You
me
know,
happy. It made me so
too
happy.
happy. I think it made me happy too, or at that point. And then probably later on, I'm like, did I really just like flip the bird on stage today when like drugs started wearing off or I was able to eat? And then my imposter syndrome hit, I'm sure, not full well understanding the impact that I had, right? This is what we go through.
Right,
Um, Amazing. And so, yeah, like this, I had that same inkling when I met you too. And like, MJ,
right.
there's something. And so this is what happens. This is what I am trying to communicate with you guys who's watching and who's struggling and thinks it's social media and all that. And yes, you need to put yourself out there, but it's the connections that you're making offline and online that are bringing you closer to the people that you're supposed to serve, right? But you have to mean what you say and say what you mean in order to attract the people that you're supposed to work with.
Right.
Hallelujah, right? And this is the work that it takes to really have enough balls to say what it is that you really want to say, right? Like flipping the
Yeah.
bird off and whatnot. And then there's a couple posts, and we'll get to that in a minute, that MJ started posting on LinkedIn. So follow, MJ works on LinkedIn. My
Mhm.
jam is Facebook. She works at LinkedIn. And so there was some post that MJ was posting. I was like, oh, damn. MJ is not playing around today, right? And so, she started showing up differently, right? So we started working together, working on your program, figuring it all out. The passion was already there. That was a given. And so we did this work. And so then what happened when we did the inner work and we told that bitch to shut up and she's no longer bothering you, right? And you are focused, clear, congruent, confident as hell. You know what to say and how to say it um, on your social media platforms, LinkedIn. What then? So once you launched and started talking about your program or whatever the hell it is that you wanted to post that day,
Yeah.
what happened? What started going on?
So it was really interesting. I had this like really like I need to like get some clients right now. And you're like, breathe.
Breathe.
This is gonna happen when they're ready, not when you are. Um like but it's been like 48 minutes. Come on, like I need to talk.
Right.
So but I was consistent. I was out there and started getting a lot of people responding to what I was saying. And whether it be engaging or messaging with me and talking about stuff. And I think the big moment where I realized um, how many people were listening, watching, and paying attention, because you kind of don't always get a really good feeling of that
Right.
when you're doing it, was I went to a conference in the FEMA world, the Association of State Floodplain Manager conference last year. And these are people who I've known from anywhere from like a few months to like 20 years. Like these are my peeps
They know
in
you.
the flood world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had so many people come up to me who I knew well, and a few that I barely knew, and say, "Man, I love what you're doing on LinkedIn. I love what you talk about. I totally get it. Fully agree. Oh my gosh, I love that this post, or like I really love how you put yourself out there." And it was really amazing to me that like I was like, "Wow, you watched that? You read all that? Cool. All right, awesome." Um, and a lot of people who were like, "Hey, so tell me more about what you're doing." And that was actually kind of a turning point where I started realizing that people are responding or listening, and that was actually the first at that conference was where I had the first conversation with one of my clients, my coaching clients, and she was pretty clear in what she knew she wanted, and she didn't know how to get there. And she's like, I think, like, just reading everything that you do, I think you're the person to help me. I'm like, I got you. Yeah, we can do this. Um, and that was also where I started the first conversation with the corporate client that I got as well. So it was really like reassuring in some ways, but also um, I think people knew that they were going to see me. So like, okay, we're going to talk about this when I see you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when things started to really kind of evolve and start getting people responding, getting clients, and kind of really rocketing forward.
Yeah. It's.
But
I remember you being frustrated. Um, this happens.
because I'm
She.
super patient.
Yeah. She's not super patient, right? Um, Thank you for admitting that. She wanted it. She wanted it now. She's like, I've done it. I've done all this work. I'm talking about it. Where are they? Right. And so I was like, okay, you have been talking about this program or what you wanted to talk about for a week or 2 weeks or, it was a short amount of time. Right. And so I'm like, and I always say this, I'm like, I have been talking about the implementer for 3 years. Okay. So this is the long game, right? And so this is the process that, MJ went through in the implementer. It's different for everybody, but she needed to realize she's like, okay, this is the long game, right? And it's also about divine timing. And I say this all the time. And I love how you just said it, MJ, where it's not about when you're ready. Clearly, you're ready. You showed up. You're ready to work. You're telling the world you are.
Right.
You're ready, right? It's when your clients are ready, right? And I love the fact that you said that, but it's different for everybody. It's divine timing, right?
Yeah.
And so, when people talk to me about the implementer and they're like, well, she landed, she made 9 grand in 4 weeks, and she did it in da da da. I'm like, don't look at the time. In fact, I may stop
Right.
putting the time on my titles. Seriously, I just had an epiphany. I may stop putting the title on my case studies or whatnot, because it's divine timing for everybody. It will happen. There is no way in hell, when you are so aligned, when you are so congruent, when you are so clear and focused and know exactly where you want to go and how you're going to get there, and you are committed to getting there, that it will not happen. It's going to happen, right? We
Yeah.
see it over and over and over again. That's why I say the implementer is 100% success rate. Everyone
Right.
who's gone in the program has gotten the results. Now they've gotten them differently, right? Because they're like, oh, well, I thought I was going to do it this way, but all of a sudden this opportunity came and I didn't know, right? And I'm like, right,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And she's
And a
like,
lot of that too was the that stress that I had about getting clients quickly was coming out, and
yeah,
that frustration was coming out. And I don't think anyone would watch me and be like, she looks frustrated, but it was definitely there in my head and messing with me. So I had to just be like, this is going to happen,
yeah,
and just make it work.
yeah. And that's another thing, right? It's this state that you are when you're creating your content, the energy that you bring to it. So even though MJ was showing up confident, and she was confident as hell, saying what she wanted to say, but she was frustrated because it wasn't happening faster or as fast as she wanted, and it was in the back of her head, right?
Mm-hmm.
That comes through. That
Yep.
energy comes through. So that's why we
Yeah.
work on, and so that's why I'm like, if you're feeling, don't post. Don't go live.
Right.
Nope,
Yeah.
not today. Okay, you're not feeling it today? Cool. Do what you got to do.
So
What
that
you need
reminds
to
me.
do. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Um, one of the things I didn't mention in the beginning, I hold a local elected office. I'm on my village board,
Oh, that's right.
and I had a really bad experience
Yeah,
one week
I remember
that
this.
I called something out and got just um, a huge backlash from one side on what I called out. And um, I had committed that I was going to post 3 times and go live. And I think I can't remember if I posted on Facebook that like I was struggling because of, or if I just messaged you and said, God, this fucking sucks. And you're like, you are not going live. You are not doing anything. Go get your shit together. Take the day off. Like,
You
okay.
are too pissed off to see, and that's
Right.
okay. You
Yeah.
be pissed off. You have every right. Yeah.
Right. But it was, I was trying to make myself do it because I said I would, but I
Mm,
was in absolutely no headspace to be talking to anybody about anything.
yeah.
Like I was a mental wreck for a couple of days just because I was just being like berated by crazy people. So needed to clear that out,
Yeah.
and then was fine and kept going. But how you show up is huge, and I do occasionally still need you to poke me and be like, no, 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 you're
Yeah.
in a bad day. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like that's okay. You don't need to do it today. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, this is where MJ's work ethic comes in to play. And so these are the women I attract. They need to love it. They need to want it, dream of it. They know this is what they wanted, and they're willing to work for it, right? Their work ethic is insane. And MJ is no different. Her work ethic is astounding, right? So when she had a bad day, when she had a bad day, na, 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 I sing. MJ knows this. It comes out. Um, when she's had a bad day and she's like, nope, but I said I was going to do this and blah, 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 right? And that's one thing I loved about her. But now she realizes that the real work is stepping away, right?
Right.
Stepping away and doing whatever it is you want to do, right? And then coming back and showing up as your most powerful self. Because if not, you're just wasting your time on social media and
Right.
your audience's time, right?
Right. Right.
For sure. Yeah. I remember that. Shoot,
And you're like,
mad. I
no,
was
no, no,
like,
no, no, no,
oh
no, no.
no, 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 ma'am, not today. And she's like, but I had this all planned out. I'm like, nope. I think this was even via messenger, and I could
It
feel
was.
what was happening. I'm like, nope, not today. No, ma'am. And she's like, but I'm like, nope. Anything else? Not today. Not today, Satan. Oh, all right. Um, so what what other things did you try in order to solve this problem before becoming an implementer?
I'm very strong-willed and independent, so most of the time I was trying to just, I'm going to read some self-help books, or I'm going to do a lot more planning, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, and trying like a thousand things
Yeah.
without kind of getting to the root of the problem. Um, so I was doing a lot of throwing stuff against the wall and seeing if anything stuck. I was doing a lot of, um, no, I got this. I just need to dig in. I just need to work harder. And I would like work myself into like a little puddle that needed a nap desperately, you know? um, and it just got to a point where I was like, I can't do it by myself. So I loved the idea of having a coach, but didn't know what I was looking for.
Hmm.
So I've had two other coaches who were very helpful in the moment, um, but never we never ever addressed or even got to what was really holding me back. And that was, I think, one of the things that it took a long time for me to understand that was part of what was holding me back.
Yeah.
Um, I read, I can't remember who recommended it. There was a book called Burnout that was excellent, and that was actually a big way I started realizing like I'm a little burnt out. I'm also um, I've got a lot of things in my head that are stopping me more than I even realize,
Yeah.
and I can't do that alone. So I actually, I haven't went to therapy for a little while because I had been in a pretty nasty car accident, and we kind of tried to tackle some of it, but some of it's not even like about therapy. It's just about like what are the little dumb things that are stuck in your head that have boiled up into this huge belief over the last 40 years. So,
I
you
know.
know, yeah. And that was something I never knew how to tackle or how to really get through until we started working together.
40 years. I know.
Yeah,
It's unreal the shit that we've been holding on to for so long, not even knowing. Maybe have
right,
some idea, but not really knowing the root cause until we do this type of work and then
right.
seeing how it's really affected not just maybe your business, but your life, right? And you're like, oh, that was the problem, right? You're like,
Right.
oh my gosh, right? So
Yeah,
imagine 40 years now being able to let that shit go in a day.
right. Well, it was funny because even like the last time we did NLP, we were talking through one memory, and it was like, oh, it's five. Five?
What?
That's when this started?
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, yeah. Huh, how about that?
I know, right? Isn't it fascinating?
Yeah.
Right? It's fascinating. I know. I know. I went through the same thing. I had to do the same
Mhm.
work. I'm like, whoa, okay. I've been holding on to that one for a lot longer
Right?
than I thought, right?
Right? This isn't just a new thing. This is
No, this has been there.
repeated.
Yeah. But then once you clear it out, and you can no longer hear her,
Right.
right? You're hearing somebody else entirely.
Yep. Yep.
Game changer.
Totally.
Game changer. All right. So, MJ, what end results did you experience through the implementer and now the master implementer? So, now I know we've talked about um, her landing a
Mhm.
$15,000 cover contract, then tripling it. Wait, hold up. Hold up. Where is it?
How you like that?
Boom.
Love that.
Wow. My new sound. I love it. Um, all right. So, she did that. So, what other end results have come about from going through the implementer now, Matt being a master? implementer?
Yeah. So during the implementer, I did get my first coaching client at that point, which was a $3,000 program um, for leaders. I started the conversation, which at that conference, which led to um, a corporate, some corporate work with team building, team development that we're in the middle of right now, which started out like around $6,000, and then the scope became 8,000, and then we added on more scope to kind of address the issues that we were identifying and analyzing, and that's gotten up to about 15 now, 15,000, which is super exciting. And then this was something that kind of started at the tail end of the implementer and has really grown and blossomed while we've been doing the master implementer. Was I had a connection that someone I've known for a really long time in the engineering world reached out to me. He's like, hey, I really like what you're doing. I really, kind of feel it. There's some work I need to do inside my company, and I think you're the person to help us. So we've had a bunch of conversations and just sent them the contract for a really large engagement that would be training and coaching 13 other middle level managers into growing into like being ready for an executive level position, which to me is kind of amazing. It's exciting to be able to do. It is the results that I was looking for in a very specific way. It's the type of work, right? It's the coaching work. It's everything kind of pulled together into this one contract, but it's also helping propel this group of people into new positions, and a lot of them are women, a lot of them are minority who don't traditionally have those opportunities, and I love it even more that like it's really that passion project that we started out talking about of trying to help people who have typically not been afforded opportunities in leadership get there. And so this one really kind of brings it all together for me. That and it's another one that started at one price tag, and as we talked through it, they added scope and grew it into a program that they really wanted. So that's where it's come up to be about 30,000 at this point. Um, and it's just kind of mind blowing. It's like, but it's very exciting. We're still still talking through final details, but I'm so excited to be able to work with this organization, work with the owner who's amazing, work with all the people who are in that middle level of management right
Yeah,
now. Um, Pokes all the buttons.
hooks all the buttons. I remember now as you're talking through this, MJ, and this is why I love having these conversations because stuff comes up for me as well where I'm like, wait a minute, this is exactly what you said you wanted
Yeah,
when we did your kickoff call for the implementer. This is
yeah,
exactly what you said that you wanted to help women um, level up in their careers, right? Minority women, all the things. And shit, I just connected the dots. I'm like, wait
yeah,
a minute, wait. Toot, 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 toot. That's what you wanted.
yeah, yeah. And it's in a different way than because it's corporate, and it's a package that we kind of like pulled a few different things into. So it's a little different than what we sketched out for coaching, but it's it's all the same results. It's
Right.
all the same um, things that I really wanted to get out of this for myself,
Yeah.
and that I wanted to be able to provide to other people. So uh, it's so exciting. I can't even get over
I
it.
know. I know. Like, you just blew my mind too because shit, I just made the connection. Hi, I'm her coach. And I just made um this is why we're live. This is why I do live. This is real. This is the real. Um, but I love the and I remember saying a couple times where, you're frustrated because you weren't filling your program and things like that, and you were talking about it and all the things. And again, divine timing, but also be open to how it comes
Right.
to you, right?
Right.
How it comes to you. So the results that you want may not be exactly how you think it should go,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
You just as long as like you're clear on what it is that you want, which you were. I remember that just crystal clear now of what you wanted and how you could help these women executives because you've done it. You were in their shoes. You know how frustrating it was. You come from a male dominated industry, which is how you and I also connected. I too worked in a male dominated industry my entire career. Um, and now to kind of to see that you actually got this, but in a different way, right?
Right.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The results will come. The clients will come if you are committed. And you actually started having fun with social media, right?
Oh yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
have a blast with
Oh
it.
my God.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this because then how MJ was showing up on LinkedIn. Oh my gosh. And so obviously you were showing this up and then you went to the conference and everyone's like, holy cow,
Mhm.
right? But yeah, talk to us a little bit about what you were saying, how you didn't care. Like MJ was not like on another level. I'm like, she's on a
Um,
roll today.
well, I mean, a lot of it was I just always wanted to be in my own voice, which
Mm-hmm.
sometimes uses bad
Mm-hmm.
words. And um, but so I put a lot of my own experiences out there, stories. It was funny because I had lunch with someone that that used to work for me at my last job before I started my business, and he reminded me of a story where he gave me a big old attitude in the meeting in front of all the other staff and the project managers, and I was like, "Can I see you in my office? No, that'd be great." And he's like, "You didn't yell at me. You didn't like, you know, make a big deal out of it." But he's like, "I knew I was in trouble."
Mm-hmm.
um, but so like after we talked about it, I told that story on LinkedIn, and I was like, "Hey, this was a fun little thing." I talked about when I had to let somebody go and feeling like such a jerk for
Right.
firing a really nice guy who just was not effective and
Mm-hmm.
bringing down the team. Stuff you have to do, like really about talking about the shit that's hard. That it's
Yeah.
leadership isn't, you know, rainbows and flowers. There's a lot that goes into it. You want to have a strong team. There's a lot that goes into it. And here's the reality of some of it that's hard, that you have to do the work, that you have to, go through stuff. And some of it's also ridiculous and funny. And then sometimes there's a cake involved also.
Yes. And then let there be cake. Let there be cake. Holy cow. So, oh my God, I completely forgot about this. So, MJ, I told you guys there's a lot to unpack with this one. So, MJ, why don't you talk to us about cake? What's up
Sure.
with cake?
So this is one of the things that we talked about early on too, that you're like, you don't always have to be talking about leadership or team building or your program. You talk about things that are also like personal. And I did talk about my cancer in some of my posts, and I also talked about the fact that I was going through a online pastry school program that I just got my diploma from 2 weeks ago. Um, and so I'm a working in a bakery currently, but I was going through my program, and there's weirdly a lot of similarities in baking and leadership. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of used that to explain some things, and just sometimes posted fun cakes that I had to make for class or that I've been making in the bakery that I just enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went through this pastry program, working in the bakery right now, and because I have nothing else to do other than my coaching, my consulting, my baking, my whatever. But I love it. It was, and it's one of those things that the baking was very therapeutic for me as
Yeah.
I went through cancer, as I went through PTSD from the car accident. And that was why I kind of pursued it and continued focusing on it. And then, yeah, it's just kind of continued to grow and become a even bigger passion. So I love talking about it and how it relates to other things that I do, even just in my bakery, like the team dynamics and stuff. It's just fun to be in a team again and be able to like use that in things that I can talk about also.
Y'all, FEMA consulting, leadership coach, and to, well, it's not a baker. What's the official title? What's the
Pastry chef? I
pastry
don't know.
chef? See, it's much more fancy. To
I
pastry
know
chef.
it's fancy.
Yes, to pastry chef, right? It's amazing. And so you guys should see, if you guys aren't following MJ, go follow her on LinkedIn. The stuff that she creates is unbelievable. And it also shows how much she loves this too, right? That
Yeah.
you don't have to do just one thing. And that's something I loved about your experience, MJ. Like she's just like, I'm not, I'm really into this. And when she talked about it, she lit up. If you guys didn't see it, she just lit up. And so I was like, go do that. Yeah. Oh my God. Right. And then like with some of her sessions, she was showing me like the stuff she was working on, like the roses she was making while she was still learning. I'm like, holy crap. Right. Amazing, amazing stuff. So that's what she talks about on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Leadership, what she really thinks, and pastry. Desserts. I kid you not. Right? And she landed a $15,000 corporate contract and is on her way to land a $30,000 corporate contract. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. We got the shit out of her way first. We got clear on what she wanted, right? And she started to show up, being exactly who she is. This
Yep.
is it. This is it. Mm.
And then there's still consulting.
Then there's still
There's
consulting.
yeah, that I'm still working with consultants that work with FEMA.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, so there's a huge transformation effort that I'm a part of um,
Oh, yeah.
that restarted, which is when we were talking about it, you're like, how much is that going to be worth? I'm like, I haven't actually figured out exactly what it's going to be, and did the math of like what my hourly rate was and how many hours they set aside for me. I was like, that's like $90,000. Holy crap! Like,
Yeah.
so okay, there's that. That's cool. But and it was a fun one because it's a program that I've been involved with and that I know a lot about and had been involved in it last year, and I kind of took a little hiatus, and then when it came back, like they had very much written the scope, you know, to um, need somebody like me, somebody who's been intimately involved in the program and things like that. So that was a really exciting part of it, is that I felt like um, this was such a like a tailored thing that I could be a part of that really leveraged all of my FEMA work and my management work and leadership work into this cool little total transformation of one of FEMA's programs. So that was a very exciting one. And then yeah, figuring out how much it was worth over the next year, I was like, wow, how about that?
How about that?
But
How
I
about
wasn't
that?
obsessed with it anymore either. So it wasn't like rocking back and forth, like, oh my God, I gotta make money. Oh, it was just like, oh look, cool.
Look, another 90 grand a year
Right.
contract that she like forgot about. I'm like, oh, by the way, before we like left, right, your last session, I'm like, oh, by the way, how much is that? And then she did the numbers, and she's like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, I'll see you next week. Right. See what happens when you stop worrying, right?
Yeah.
Stop worrying and just show up.
Yep.
Yeah, the opportunities
Way to make
come
it.
in. What
Yep.
recession? Recession my ass. Uh-uh. No ma'am. Not on our watch. Right?
Right.
Amazing. So sick, MJ. So sick. All right. Um, so what do I want to do next? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? Okay. Is there anything else that we should know? Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap up?
I'm looking at my board where I write all of our stuff down. Um, uh, I think one thing that I'd add is fear
Mm,
was one of the things I don't think I expressly talked about in the beginning when you were talking about like what were some of the problems, your the things I had to overcome, a lot of that was rooted in fear. And it's funny because I put myself out there on the political perspective and campaigned, but putting myself out there for my business but felt so different for some reason that
Yeah.
I had a lot of fear to get past. Um, and once I really kind of dealt with that, it was a lot easier. And then it's also helped me. One of the things you said to me that I'm looking at right now is that their fear has nothing to do with me, that there's trepidation sometimes with the people that you're talking to about moving forward with something. And that's, again, not about me. That's, you got some stuff to work through. I'll be here when you're ready.
That's right.
We're good. So like that mindset is such a huge shift from where I was before, that I think being able to say, this isn't about me. Cool. Let me know when you're good.
Right. Exactly. This isn't about me. I love that. When
Mhm.
it's coming like to objections that you're talking about,
Yeah.
like objections work
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Yep. It's not about you. It's them.
Yep.
Amazing. That's a huge breakthrough. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, MJ. So, what else are you working on?
Oh my gosh. What am I working on?
All
I'm
right.
looking at expanding the and kind of refocus the accelerator, the um, leadership accelerator. Um, and I'm really excited about this too, that it's really about women getting the opportunities that they deserve. People who, I know I'm a good leader. I know I'm there. I know that I have the ability to lead, and I'm not getting either the opportunity to do it. I don't know how to prove myself. I don't know how to get there. So it's a focused 12-week program to help women um, accelerate their careers, accelerate the path that they're on, so that they can be executives and strong leaders in their company, or in their own business, right? Like, if having a team working for you is kind of a new part of what you're doing. If you started out solo and are growing a team, it's the same idea. It's like, now I have to not just do my thing. I've got to be a leader and make this happen as a team. So Vanessa's showing off my page. It explains all about the accelerator.
Hell yeah, I'm showing it off.
Yeah. um, and I think what I love about most about it is it's all about like how to inspire action, not not leadership that is um, demanding following. It's about inspiring people to follow you, which is very much every leader that I point to in my life when I talk on social media or that I think about has been more of an inspirational leader. So I really want to help women become that inspirational leader, um, above and beyond everything else, because I think that's a real path to success. That even if your organization doesn't recognize it, you have such a wider, broader impact on people than you even know. It's very much like when I went to the conference and people are talking to me about, well, how I'm showing up on LinkedIn, that people I didn't even know were watching or even paying attention. That I want women to be able to have that kind of impact, have that kind of reach in their own life, and get results all around them. So,
Amazing. Amazing, MJ. Um, man, your transformation from where you were when I just kind of reached out to you when you were going through, the rough stuff in life to now. I mean, we've gone through it with you. I went through it with you. And now just kind of unpacking it, I was like, damn, right? The transformation has been amazing. The work that you put in has been inspiring. And you are the inspiring leader that you are trying to help other women become. And that's the real work. And I applaud you so, so very much for doing the work, for trusting me to guide you through this type of work. So I hope that, you know, in my entrepreneur journey, this is what I want, that I want you to take a little bit of that and put it to the women leaders that you're about to throw down with. Apparently,
yeah.
there's, a ton of them that you're going to be coaching and get through, their imposter syndromes and, all that stuff, because it's just, I would say it's just, the implementer is just like a little ripple, just the little ripple. And then my clients do a freaking tsunami with it. And that's how I see the implementers and master implementers. I'm like, the implementer's just a little, the little dot that starts the water, and you guys just roll with it. So I am incredibly proud of you, MJ. I am so honored that you chose to work with me and continue to work with me. I adore you. I love you to pieces, and I'm so beyond proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I don't think I'd be here with anyone else, honestly. I needed you.
It was meant to be. Yeah, it's
Yep.
when this happened.
Right?
Oh, that's when it all went down. I hear that a lot. All right, MJ, thanks so much for hanging, and I'll see you soon.
Right? Bye.
All right, guys, another sick transformation. This is why I do these live case studies. The work that my clients and I do is very deep work. It is not just about social media marketing strategies, although, yes, strategy is involved, but it's a very minute part of the implementer. And the implementer is just, it's the work that we do inside there cannot be done alone. It just can't. You cannot go through this type of inner work alone. So if, like MJ, that you have been stuck, that you have an idea in your head, or you want to scale your business, coaching, consulting, speaking, whatnot, and you are sick and tired of seeing all these other case studies and you not being one of them, then this is your invitation. I'm inviting you to become an implementer. So the implementer is my intensive business coaching experience designed to help you create a results driven, my clients get results, results driven money making marketing strategy, social media money making marketing strategy that will teach you how to bring in clients on command. It is a proven program, like I've seen once again, for the ambitious woman who is just done. If you are done being stuck like MJ was, if you know that you need help and you are called to work with me and you are sick of seeing everyone else exceed and worry and not knowing how to move forward, reach out to me. This is how we throw down. This is for the person who is ready to get the hell out of her own way and get the results that I know you can get. I know you can get it, but you can't get there on your own, right? It provides clarity, strategy, masterful mindset work, and accountability to assure you'll experience the explosive results that all implementers have experienced. Like I said, I can now say and proudly say loudly that the implementer has a 100% success rate. Each and every person that has gone through this program has gotten massive results, explosive results. They might not have gotten there exactly the way they thought, but they got there and beyond, right? So I'm going to put the link underneath this live stream. You guys can click on that link to book a time on my calendar. You'll first fill out an application, so that gives me a better understanding of what's really going on, what you're really struggling with, so the call can be even more productive once we throw down. Cool? All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you online. Peace.